Hello and welcome to Education at SSBJ online video tutorials. And we were into the chapter Microorganisms, Friend and Foe of class 8th. In the previous videos, we have studied the different types of microorganisms one by one. We have studied about bacteria and then fungi and then protozoa and then algae. And we have seen some of the examples of bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae. In this video lesson, we will straightway come to the topic, again into some of the microorganisms which are harmful. I have already told you tuberculosis is a type of disease and it is caused by bacteria. Hello and welcome to Education at SSBJ online video tutorials, and we were into the chapter Microorganisms, Friend and Foe of class 8th CBSE. In the previous video tutorials, we have studied about the types of microorganisms in detail. We have studied about bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae, with few examples of each one of them. Dear children, we have seen that these microorganisms sometimes are very harmful. For example, tuberculosis is caused by bacteria, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and this disease affects our lungs. All have heard about measles, red patches all over the body. Now these measles are not by bacteria. Remember, it is by virus called morbillivirus. Now as far as your syllabus of class 8th is concerned, you need not remember the names of the virus, but understand and try to remember the name of the disease and the type of microorganisms. For example, measles are by virus. And how about chickenpox? Chickenpox, again by virus, called varicella zoster. You can see in the background image a type of boils, a watery one, appears all over the body. When these boils are very closely formed, sometimes they appear like a patch, a skin of a snake, and that is called herpes. And the reason for herpes also the same virus, varicella zoster virus. All of us have heard about polio, and polio is caused by virus. Please remember the type of microorganisms which are responsible for different diseases. And what about malaria? Malaria is caused by a protozoa which is a parasite. What is parasite? Parasite depends on other living organisms for its food. And what is the name of this parasite? Name of the parasite is Plasmodium. And Plasmodium appears like, the picture which is there in the background. And in the previous video, we have seen this through microscope. Recall, or if you have not watched, please watch the previous video in the series of microorganisms, friends and foe. Cholera, again a deadliest disease which is caused because of wrong food, right? It is again because of bacteria called Vibrio cholerae. This bacteria present commonly in stagnated water as well as food which is not prepared properly or placed open. Typhoid, again through food, caused by a bacteria called Salmonella typhi. Right? Let us recall one by one fast. The first one was tuberculosis caused by bacteria, measles by virus, chickenpox by varicella zoster again a virus, polio is by poliovirus, malaria by a parasite protozoa and the name is plasmodium, and typhoid is typhi bacteria. Now, on one side you are watching the names of the diseases, and on the other side with the red background the types of microorganisms which are responsible for it. Now, what is the name given to the group of these organisms which bring diseases to us? They are pathogens. Now, why I have made this introduction? Because in the exam, if a question comes to write the definition of pathogens, what you have to write? Pathogens are disease causing microbes. Well, there are many microorganisms which are disease causing, but human body is a gifted one. Most of the times we are not harmed by these bacteria or a virus or a protozoa. Even if it enters through a different means into our body, we have a system called immune system says not to enter, and this system protects us from all pathogens. Now here we have to learn a term and its meaning called antibodies. Now, what are antibodies? The picture you are seeing here is an antibody. It's a Y-like structure there. It's actually a protein, and it automatically produces inside our body. Now, why it produces inside our body? Because of the antigens. Now, wait a minute. What are antigens? Antigens are part of pathogens. They are again a protein which is there on pathogens. Now recall, pathogens are disease causing microorganisms. Now antigens can be either disease causing microorganisms or even chemicals, the dust particles, the pollens, or any other toxins, right? If our body exposed to these type of antigens, right, then automatically our body produces antibodies. Now again I am repeating, antigens causes a body to produce antibodies. Now what are antigens? Antigens are the part of pathogens. Don't get confused with these two. So therefore our immune system produces antibody when antigens are near to it and we are safe. Now when antigens starts coming near to the antibody, there is a system. So in simple terms, what happens? These antibodies will hold them and try to neutralize them. And now what happens? Once these antigens are neutralized, then they'll not affect our body. So antibodies are the substance our body produces to fight disease causing microbes. And what is antigen? Antigen is any substance that causes your immune system to produce antibodies. And what are pathogens? Disease causing microbes are called pathogens. Now let us learn about a person, whose name is Edward Jenner. On May 14, 1796, Edward Jenner took a fluid from cowpox blister and scratched into the skin of 8-year-old boy whose name is James Phipps. Soon James recovered. A single blister, that is a boil, rose up on the spot, but James soon recovered. And that was the first step towards vaccine. You all know when the microorganisms, that is a pathogen, when they attack our body, when they enter into our system, they multiply. And there is a system called immune system. It produces antigen, and antigens neutralize them. But wait a minute. I have just told you Edward Jenner was responsible for a vaccine, discovery of vaccine. What does vaccine contain? Vaccine contain either a dead or weak version of a microorganism itself. And when we inject those weak versions of microorganisms or a dead microorganism inside our body, our antibodies get trained to fight against them. Some of the diseases which can be prevented by vaccines are cholera, hepatitis, smallpox, and tuberculosis. So we have understood about vaccine, the discovery of vaccine, the person who has discovered and started the branch of science called vaccinology. And then what does vaccine contain? Now let us have few information about how these harmful microorganisms enter our body, sometimes by air. The tuberculosis, measles, chickenpox, polio, they take means of air to enter our body. Cholera, typhoid, poliovirus, hepatitis A enter to our body through water. Cholera, again, contaminated food is responsible for that. Chickenpox by contact. And malaria, you all know, mosquito. This is how they transmit. We have to take precaution. But more than that, we have to develop our immune system strong. And how can we develop our immune system strong? Certain things we have to stop, right? Let me give you what to stop and what to do in brief, right? Some of the information regarding how to develop our immune system. First thing is we have to stop junk food. Now let me not tell you what our junk food mean. You have to stop them and stop them. Because they bring down our immune system. Then what should be our food? You have to eat lots of vegetables and fruits. Remember, eat at home. The next thing is you should keep yourself moving most of the time. Right? Either you play. If not available to play, time is not available, then keep moving. Don't sit idle at a time. Relax yourself. Practice yoga and meditation. Practice proper breathing. Proper breathing is a solution for most of the problems in life. Very important one, you should have a good sleep. Almost 8 hours of nice sleep at your age. And more than that, you should keep laughing. So laughter is the best medicine. Right? To conclude, what we have learnt now is the meaning of pathogens. Then what are antigens? Antigens is any substance that cause your immune system to produce antibodies against it. And what are antibodies? Again the same thing. It's our immune system. Our body produces to fight against disease causing microbes. And what is vaccine? Vaccines are weak or dead disease causing microbes that are injected in our body to trigger the production of antibodies.